Hello, and welcome back to the Renaissance Fabrics Sewing Studio, and another episode of Behind the Seams, where we examine a piece of clothing from our Renaissance Fabrics antique clothing collection. Today we are going to examine this lovely 1911 to 1912 white cotton petticoat slip. A petticoat slip is a combination of a corset cover and petticoat in one garment. We are going to take a look at some of the great features of this petticoat slip, including the styling, the laces, the fabrics, and the flounce. Now let's take a closer look at the details. Now let's examine the lace details on the top a little bit closer. The first thing you'll notice is that there's lace all around the neckline, and it extends down into three features, one in the center and one on either side. Each feature has a small strip of lightweight cotton fabric, embroidered with a floral or kind of daisy pattern. The lace then borders this embroidery. You will see it goes down one side, flips over, then goes up the other side. This way you don't need to cut and secure the loose ends of the lace, which can be difficult. You can also see row upon row of insertion lace vertically stitched together. You can tell it's insertion lace because it has two straight sides on the lace. Now let's look at the seams on this petticoat slip. I can feel that the side seams are here, underneath the body, which means they're not directly on the side, but slightly behind it. The front is wider than the back. There are two seams on each side of the front for shaping, except they aren't seams, but darts. You can see how they open up just below the bust area and just below the waist to give more room for the hips. Now we will look at the flounce, which you'll notice is very close to the bottom and measures only about 8 inches wide. A couple of things to note about it is that the fabric for it is nice and light, but it is a different fabric from the one used for the body. It has insertion lace in it, and it looks like it was actually made that way and bought that way. I've seen examples of sold pre-decorated flounces that are ready to be put on a petticoat. Here's another example from our collection that is probably from about 1911 and is 13.5 inches ready-made flounce, and it was very similar to one I saw advertised in an early Macy's catalog. Underneath the pretty flounce, there is another flounce, a smaller ruffle, that is about half the size of the flounce. It's made from the same fabric as the body and has a nice sturdy hem. Between these two, you get a lot of loft and shaping at the bottom of your slip to help your skirts stand out. You will notice around the neckline there is beading lace. Beading lace is a lace woven such that there are open areas meant for a lace or ribbon to be threaded through it. This one is a cotton ribbon, but could have just as easily been a decorative silk ribbon. This method was used to snug up the neckline of the slip to the bosom, and in this case, it was used to tie the neckline of the slip closed. In addition to this lace for closure, there are buttons, but they're not very close. They're about 2 3/4 inches down the back, and they have hand-worked buttonholes. In addition, there is a flap that covers the buttons that is incorporated into the buttonhole placket as an additional cover. I hope you enjoyed exploring the features of this 1911-1912 petticoat slip with me. If you have further information, please share it with us in the comments. We definitely don't know everything. If you like this video, like it and subscribe to be notified when new ones are posted. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time in the Renaissance Fabrics Sewing Studio.